everybody, and I want to welcome everyone to this episode of the Booze Geek. My name is Chuck. I am your host. And before I get started, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you like the episode, hit that like button too. Give us a big thumbs up. And we'll thank y'all in advance. But on tap on this episode, we're going to be tasting and reviewing a limited release beer from Founders Brewing, and they are located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So, the beer we're tasting, let me grab the bottle, because this is it. The limited release, the Big Luscious. Mwah! The Big Luscious. Mwah! This is the Big Luscious. What is the Big Luscious? Well, this beer, I kind of calmed it down a little bit because it's luscious. This beer, this is a stout that is brewed with chocolate and raspberries. So yeah, that sounds a little bit luscious to me. This beer clocks in at a, well, pretty big 7.8% ABV and a very luscious 30 IBU. So without further ado, let's crack the top on the Big Luscious and see how we're doing. Here we go. Grab my bottle opener and boom, boom. Are we going to get some luscious smoke out of it? Well, let's see. No, zero. No luscious smoke. Let me grab a little snifter glass here. And, ooh. I'm getting a very luscious pour, though. Wow. That's jet black. Thick jet black. And, yeah, quarter finger veil of cocoa-colored foam. Cocoa-colored carbonation. Say that. Cocoa-colored carbonation floating on top here of the Big Luscious. But, looks good so far, but we're going to find out. Let's give this a swirl. Let's give it a nose. Here we go. I can barely swirl it in this snifter glass. I think I got some suds on my nose here. Let's see. Yeah, a little swirl. There we go. Now we got the swirl. We got the pattern going. It's moving. It's moving. It's moving. Okay. Yep. Yep. First and foremost up front, raspberry. Takes the cake. Raspberry. Yeah, huge raspberry, which is okay because it's brewed with raspberry, so that works for me. There's also some slight chocolate syrup coming through, some slight mocha, and then just a very slight, yeah, little bit of slight wood smoke, but that's about it. But I mean, it's the raspberry that pretty much covers everything else. But to each his own, right? Let's give the Big Luscious a sip. Luscious, baby. Wow. Well, first and foremost, I was expecting a really full-bodied beer, and it's not. It's on the lighter side of a medium-bodied beer, which is different. That's kind of ironic. I did not expect that. But flavor-wise, what are we getting here? Well, taking the cake, once again, first and foremost, raspberry. And it's almost like a raspberry syrup, but like drizzled over the chocolate. Drizzled over maybe ice cream or chocolate ice cream. It's like I'm tasting raspberry, but it's more like a raspberry syrup. I'm also getting a little bit of that chocolate. I am getting some mocha coming through. One more here, another little sippy sip. Or I should say a luscious sip. A slight, very hint of vanilla, and it almost tastes like there is some cherry coming through too. Okay, so now this beer is sweet, but it's not super sweet. I mean, it's not like as sweet as maybe like a pastry stout is going to be, but it's definitely on the sweeter side. So I will say that, get that out of the way as well. But I'm going to get one more sip here, then I'm going to give my review or my rating, my review. Anyways, what are we giving this beer? You know what? I honestly, number one, thought this beer was going to be sweeter than it was. But because of that, I'm going to give this a 7. Because number one, first and foremost, like I said, it's sweet, but it's not super sweet. Now, number two, is the balance off? Yes. I wish, there is, it does say chocolate on the label, so I wish a little bit more of that chocolate was coming through. I'm getting a little bit on the nose and not so much on the palate. I mean, it's coming through, but not that much. I mean, but the raspberry is just taking the cake and pushing everything else aside. The raspberry is really, really big. If they could have found a better balance between the chocolate and the raspberry, definitely would have scored this one a little bit higher. But it's a good dessert beer. Like I said, it's not as sweet as a pastry stout, but it would work well as a dessert beer. A snifter, maybe a 10-ounce snifter, or even split a bottle with someone would go great. With some chocolate cake, maybe some ice cream would would work well with that. But on that note, I'm going to give this one more sip. And I'm going to wrap this one up, and I'm going to say I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode. And as always, you can follow me at the website, which are www.pubsofapinton.com, or at the blog, which is www.pubsofapinton.blogspot.com. And with that, we will see you on the next episode. So raise that pint, snifter, cheers, PROST, and enjoy!